Welcome to Grow with Biology. Today we'll deal with markers. Now, what are markers? Markers are a part of gene. It has it will in the preceding slides we will see that there are different types of marker. First important characteristic of a marker that it must be polymorphic. Polymorphic means it must be present in different forms, and these different forms help us to analyze the mutant form from the normal. So we can differentiate the mutant and the normal if that specific gene is a polymorphic. So there are types: morphological marker, biochemical markers, and molecular markers. These are the three types of markers which we will deal with. First is morphological markers. Now morphology means whatever is visualizable with our eyes, whatever we can see. Now it is a qualitative traits. Qualitative means its presence can be diagnosed. So it is next point it is written that it is scored visually. If you can visualize it, then it is expressive. So it is of two types. One is dominant and other is recessive. Now what are the drawbacks of these type of markers? They cause large effects on phenotypes. Phenotypic expressions have a major role in this morphological markers. They mask the effect of the linked marker genes and they are highly influenced by the environment. So this morphological markers are basically those type of markers whose presence or absence can be visualized with our naked eyes. Next is the biochemical markers. In biochemical markers, it is given by the proteins produced by the gene. Whatever protein it is produced, and that protein is analyzed here. And there are isozymes. The isozymes are the different molecular forms of the same enzyme. So one protein expression in cell A and same protein synthesizing by cell B can have a different types of activities. If it is then it is known as a biochemical markers. Those isozymes can be used as a biochemical marker. Third is the molecular marker. We have to focus on this type of molecular markers because they are used in analysis. This is a DNA This is a DNA sequence whose inheritance can be monitored. Molecular markers basically depends on this DNA. We analyze through DNA. It must be polymorphic, and the analysis method, on the basis of analysis method, there are three types: non-specific based, non-PCR based, PCR based, and target PCR and sequencing. These are three categories on which molecular markers are differentiated. Now the genetic markers or the molecular markers which we will deal here is RFLP, RAPD and AFLP. Starting with RFLP. It is restriction fragment length polymorphism. The full form is restriction fragment length polymorphism. Now we deal with single terms. We all know it is a type of molecular marker. So the starting material will be DNA. Now DNA in RFLP, the first word is restriction. How do we restrict? We have to restrict DNA. So restriction of DNA can be done by restriction endonuclease. Restriction endonuclease will recognize palindromic sequences on DNA, and then they will start their function, that is they will cleave the DNA. Now restriction endonuclease has cleaved the DNA, thus there will be fragments, and this fragment will be separated with the help of a technique known as electrophoresis. We all know electrophoresis separates different molecular weight of DNA according to its molecular weight. So we will separate the strands or fragments of DNA which was generated by restriction endonuclease. Suppose there are 3 wells, and in 3 wells we have loaded sample 1, 2 and 3, and we have got this type of bands. Now what does this show? If you look, visualize it, there is lane 1 and lane 3 have the bands at same position, whereas lane 2 has only one band. Now what does this bands or this result interpret? This result interprets that 1 and 3rd well has a sample which is similar. How it is similar? Because we have used the restriction endonuclease on the sample. Let's suppose there are 3 samples, sample 1, sample 2, sample 3. Now these 3 samples have been treated with a same type of restriction endonuclease. We have taken DNA from these 3 samples and then we have added restriction endonuclease. What restriction endonuclease will do? Restriction endonuclease will cleave. Now when it is cleaving, it will, if there is one restriction endonuclease site, then it will generate 2 fragments. So in one lane and lane 3, we find there are 2 fragments. It means both has a single restriction endonuclease site of that specific enzyme. While in lane 2, there is no fragmentation, so it doesn't have that restriction endonuclease site. And moreover, lane 1 and lane 3 have 2 fragments and both are of equal size, which means that sample present in lane 1 and lane 2 are similar. So they are they are used in marking the DNA fingerprints. Now it is not a PCR based and it is a codominant marker. So this is restriction fragment length polymorphism. Next is RAPD, that is random amplified polymorphic DNA. Again we start with DNA. Now here it is amplification. Amplification means increasing the quantity of DNA. Amplification will be done with the help of PCR machine or PCR's mechanism. We need a primer, and the primer here is specifically random primer. Again focus to RAPD, that is random amplified amplification of the DNA but with the help of random primer. Now again after primer, using the random primer, we amplify the genetic material. After genetic material amplification, we do electrophoresis. Again, we find these types of bands which show that there is specific regions where the band have been formed, and it will help in amplifications of the genes. And the amplification, this is not a single step analysis method, it is a multiple step. We do this PCR step multiple of times, and then again after getting the results of more than 10 to 15 times or 20 times as per the length of the DNA, we can analyze the fragments as of similar origin or of different. So it is a PCR based method and it is a dominant marker. Now in net examinations there are questions on which type of methods, or out of which they will give 3 or 4 techniques, and out of which acting as a dominant marker. So we specified that RFPD is a dominant marker. Next is AFLP. The full form is Amplified Fragment Length Polymorphism. Now there is amplification as well as fragmentation. So it is a combination of AFLP, RAPD and RFLP. This is AFLP starting with DNA. First we treat it with restriction endonuclease as we have done with RFLP. So restriction endonuclease, it will start cleaving. It will generate fragments. Now this fragments then we require an adapter. Now what does this adapter do? It is adapter will join to the fragments. After adapter has joined to the fragment, then we move to the amplification. Again amplification with the help of PCR technique. But when we have added the adapter, we know some of the sequences because adapter is a lab made genetic material. So after that we know the sequences, and that sequence will help us to design the primer. So only specific amplifications will be done by PCR, and then again we do the electrophoresis. Again this is a dominant marker after dominant marker, and it is PCR based. Thank you.